Y'all, I don't know if y'all can read that. It's probably backwards. But it says it does defeat 99.9% of all viruses and bacteria. Maybe he was right. Maybe this is how we reopen the country and kill Corona forever, dude. Maybe injecting ourselves with Lysol. I don't know why no one thought of this sooner. However, today I will not be defeating Corona. I will be bringing you guys my thoughts and opinions on the Nintendo Switch. Long story short, before we even get into the video, yes, I think you should go buy this console. It's great. No matter how much I trash this console today, this console will always be near and dear to me in my heart. I have a special place for this in my heart, and I think it's great. I brought it to work with me. I went to school with it. I went over to my friends' houses when they didn't have Switches and played it. It's overall it's a great system, and you should definitely go pick one up. But today I want to get into the nitty gritty of the console. What I like about it, what I don't like about it, plays aspects of the Switch where Nintendo could improve the system, and things I think that they did really well. I want to start this video by talking about the online service that Nintendo offers for this console. While I think the online service is lacking, I do think that there are a couple highlights with the system. I think it's really cool that Nintendo is giving us this system within the service where every couple of months they will add like some retro games to the online service, which you can play if you've bought the service. It's only $20. It's affordable. But a drawback to the system that they've implemented is they got rid of the virtual console, which I didn't like. I don't like the fact that I have to wait for them to upload a game to this system, and it's a game that I might care about. It's a game that I might not care about. Before they had the system, they had something called the Virtual Console, which allowed you to buy games that were retro. And I liked that a little bit more because I could, choose with my wallet. I didn't have to wait around. I could have what I wanted when I wanted. Another thing that they removed, which I didn't really like, was the Miiverse, which was on the Wii U. Well, the Wii U wasn't, very successful. It had Miiverse, which was really fun because you could see like what other people were doing. It wasn't like Facebook or anything, but people could post like silly pictures of what they were doing. They could draw funny things. It was just really cool to be able to go onto Miiverse and, see what people were up to, what people had created. And it's just a shame that it's gone. I think that the Switch could really use something, that brings the community together. I don't really think that there's anything on this console that really, allows the users to interact with each other like they used to. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to the online service that Nintendo is offering is that there aren't any dedicated servers for the system, which is a huge issue because when you're playing online, most likely, and when I say most likely, you will definitely get disconnected while playing. You will be in the middle of playing a game and it will be intense and you will get disconnected and you will rage quit. Trust me, it's not fun. I don't see why this is an issue. Nintendo is a billion-dollar company, and a billion-dollar company should be able to build dedicated servers. Microsoft is doing it, Sony's doing it, Google's doing it. I just don't see why after generations of games where you didn't have to pay for online, now Nintendo's making you pay for an online system, and it's not really improving upon anything that they did in the past. So I'm really starting to question why Nintendo's even making people pay for this system pay for this online service outside of the little games that you get every once in a while once they decide to upload them. Now let's move on to the console itself. When you first buy the Switch, you have an option of purchasing it with the standard gray Joy-Cons, or you could opt to get the neon blue and the neon red. I chose the neon blue and the neon red because I'm epic. But yeah, I like it. It's lightweight. I don't really get tired of holding it when I'm playing it, especially for long periods of time. It controls well. I like how the buttons feel. It comes with a dock, and I will review this more later. And it comes with this little mold that you can put the Joy-Cons into. I'll do that for you guys. So in case you're playing the system on your couch, or you're in your living room and you want to sit far away from the TV, but you don't like just holding the Joy-Cons, well, this is a mold that you can put them into, and it's a little bit more comfortable to hold. I think it's a good inclusion. But I opted to buy the Pro Controller, and let me tell you, if my hands could have an orgasm holding something, it'd be because of this. The buttons are nice and meaty. The control sticks feel nice. The D-pad's nice and meaty. The button placement, I like it. And yeah, I think the material on the Nintendo Switch could use a little bit of work, especially when it comes to the dock. I don't know if you guys can see here, but there's like this little scratch right here. This thing is, I think it's like some really cheap plastic, and it's really expensive. I don't understand why something so lacklusterly made it costs so much. But yeah, the material scratches really easily, so if you're not careful with it, you're going to scratch it, and it's not going to look as pristine. Thinking about getting a new dock because I care about that kind of stuff. I don't like my dock looking all scratched up. It's just not a good look. In the back of the dock, you have your power supply goes here, your HDMI goes here, and there's another USB on the back, and there are two USB ports on the side. Hold on. The Switch itself just slides right in. When the system first came out, a lot of people were complaining that the dock actually scratched the screen of the Switch, but I feel like if you're careful, you're not going to run into that. Just make sure that you're not just, slamming it in there. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to have some problems. A lot of people wound up buying, covers for the front of their Switch. That way it would prevent the hard plastic from rubbing against the screen of the Switch. Now when it comes to the controllers, the Joy-Cons, I like them. They're comfortable to hold for a little while, but they don't really have any grip to them. They're kind of just these little flat panels. So if you're holding them for a while, your hand can kind of get uncomfortable sometimes. And the plastic that they're made out of, well, it's good for short-term use. If you hold them for a little while and your hands get sweaty, it's really uncomfortable to hold these. The Joy-Cons, which a big problem with these things is that a lot of people are experiencing what is called Joy-Con drift, and after you have these things for a while, eventually the little thumbsticks here, the circle pads, they'll start becoming defective, and you'll start doing inputs you didn't even mean to do. And that's really a problem for games where you have to be competitive, like Smash Brothers or Splatoon or any game. A lot of people have been complaining about this because once these go, you have to literally go out and buy a new set of Joy-Cons, which can cost upwards of $90. And when I already spent $300 on a console, I expect these controllers to last me a couple of years. I'm currently experiencing Joy-Con drift. I've contacted Nintendo. Thankfully, right now Nintendo is offering a service where if you call them or you just email them, you can tell them that you're experiencing Joy-Con drift, and they will send you a shipping label, and you can ship your Joy-Cons off to them, and they'll fix them free of charge. So I think that's a good thing Nintendo's doing. Now, if you're going out to buy a Switch, you're most likely not going to run into this problem. But if you're buying it on eBay, make sure that you ask whoever you're buying it from what version of the Switch what version of the Switch they're selling you. I have the version that came out near launch, so I kind of have the crappy version of the Switch. This version of the Switch, its battery lasts like 3.5 to 4.5 hours, but really it feels like it only lasts 2 hours. The new version of the Switch will last from 4.5 to like 7 hours, so it's definitely a huge improvement over what the Switch used to be. The Switch Lite also I think goes around for the same duration, but I don't have a Switch, so I can't really speak to that much. If you're looking to pick up a Switch, I'd say that you're looking at around $300. But right now, the Switches are kind of hard to find, so you might actually wind up paying close to $500 for one. If you want to wait, I totally understand, because scalpers are just they're out there, man, and they are definitely trying to mark up the price on these consoles. It's a shame. A lot of people just want to play Animal Crossing right now, and it's a shame that they have to pay $500 to do it. Next, I want to get into some of the games that you should pick up when you're thinking about going to go buy a Switch. I think one of the essential games that you should probably play is Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, actually. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was on the Switch at launch. I still think it holds up. I think it's the Switch's best-selling game at this point. It was on the Wii U, and when they ported it over the Switch, they just added a couple new tracks, they added a couple new characters, a couple new game modes, and I strongly do suggest you get it. It is it is an improvement over the Wii U version. It's still fun. I still play it sometimes to this day, even 3 years later when it came out on the Switch, and like 5 years later when it came out on the Wii U. The next game I think you should pick up, and I'm going to keep this one relatively short because I don't really play it anymore, but for a person who is just starting to get out the Switch, you should definitely pick up Splatoon 2. It's fun. It's like the shooter IP of Nintendo. I say I don't play it because I've kind of grown out of it, but when I did play it, I had a lot of fun with it. It's not a bad game by any means. It's really good. You should pick it up. The next game I want to talk about is Mario Odyssey. I don't have the physical version of it. I downloaded it at launch. It was close to my birthday, and I just wanted it. I didn't want to go to the store and buy it. But yeah, you should pick up Mario Odyssey. It was 2017 Game of the Year. It's a great platformer. Everyone really wanted a Mario 3D platformer for like the longest time. There wasn't one on the Nintendo Wii U, so it's finally great to see that we got one on Switch. I think there have been a lot of rumors that Nintendo is doing either a Mario Odyssey 2 or a Super Mario Sunshine remake. So I really want to see what they do with, the future of the Mario 3D platformers. So if you do go get yourself a Switch, also pick up Mario Odyssey, because you'll be missing out otherwise. The next two games I'm going to recommend to you, I'm going to do at the same time, which are Pokemon Sword and Shield and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. They're fighting games, it's Pokemon, you're going to have fun with it regardless. I will say that I was a little underwhelmed with Pokemon Sword and Shield. It really seemed like it was going to be this blockbuster of a game when they showed it off in the trailers, but I thought that the way that the game was designed, it was a little underbaked. I thought that they could have done a little bit more with the game. The DLC, which is like Isle of Armor and something else, it's coming out in June. I still haven't copped it. I'm waiting to see what it's like, if people say it's worth the money. I don't want to shell out another $30 when it's, basically more of the same stuff. But, long story short, it's Pokemon. You'll have fun. Uh, it's also something that I've really wanted for a long time, which is, a little bit even more disappointing that I got, what I wanted, Pokemon on the big screen, but it was Pokemon Sword and Shield. The next game I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite franchises in all of gaming, and rightfully so because it's the biggest crossover in gaming history, and it is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Another fun couch co-op game that you should pick up. It has every character that you could ever want or need in a Smash Brothers game. It has all the characters that have ever been in the franchise. It has it actually has another DLC pack coming out this year, and they're releasing a new character in June. It's going to be an arms rep, which I don't really care for. But yeah, I don't really need to say too much about that game. It's Super Smash Brothers. You should pick it up. The next game I'm going to talk about is Animal Crossing, and it's a game that I downloaded. I didn't buy it. I bought it during the quarantine, and I didn't want to go to GameStop and buy it. I didn't want to risk getting the virus. But about 100 hours into it, and I'll tell you this. I like Animal Crossing, but I think once the game stops becoming a game and more of a life sim, I will start losing interest in the game. Right now, I'm really into the idea of just going around and collecting to build my island. But I think once my island is built and I have to go around and start, doing life sim stuff, I think the game's going to lose my interest. But otherwise, I think the game is really good. It's really well created. It's everything that I ever wanted in an Animal Crossing game. It, you know, I hate to be that guy, but I hate to be the guy who's like, back in my day, your character, you chose a few couple of silly sentences and your character just was the way that he was. Now you can customize your character. Now you can do a bunch of new stuff that, Nintendo's letting you do. It's a great game. You guys should pick it up. Now this next game, if you are a Switch owner and you don't have it, I will slap the shit out of you, because why do you even own a Switch? And the game is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. There's so much to say about this game, but also there isn't that much to say about this game, because it's just a phenomenal game and you should go pick it up for that reason. But as for me, I really like it because it's the first open world Zelda game. It's not as linear as past Zelda games, as in when you first boot up the game, you're in the game. There's, besides the little tutorial that you have at the beginning, which is like an hour, the game kind of just lets you decide what you want to do. You can play the game how you want to play it. When you first step off, your little tutorial island, you can decide if you want to go defeat the, final boss right away. You probably won't because you're weak as shit, but, it's an option. If you're skilled enough, you can do it. It's a fantastic game. It's probably the best game on the Switch right now. If you have a Switch, definitely pick it up. Another thing that kind of concerns me about the Nintendo Switch is, while I have, mentioned a lot of great games that have come out for the Switch, I really am having a hard time picturing Nintendo's future when it comes to making games right now. Because, this year we haven't really gotten much information on, what the next big holiday title is. Last year it was Pokemon. The year before that it was Smash. The year before that, I think it was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And they were all great games, but we already got the Zelda title, we already got Pokemon, we already got Smash, we already got Mario. I don't think they're going to be doing a new Mario Kart 9. The 8 Deluxe is selling so well, they just don't have a reason to. So it kind of concerns me, what is Nintendo gonna do? There's the new Metroid game that they're working on, and Animal Crossing already came out. So I don't want to say pick up the Switch because there's going to be a bunch of new games coming out for the console, because I honestly don't know. But on the brighter side, this console does really well when it comes to porting games. It has Overwatch, it has Borderlands, and those two franchises are just some of my favorites, and I'm really excited that the Switch got them. So if you guys think that the Switch is worth going out and purchasing, I would definitely do that. If you can get your hands on one, go out and get it. If you can't, I'm sorry, it's probably scalpers. Fuck scalpers. But wait, because Nintendo said that they are ramping up production by 10% on the Switch because of the high demand for it. But also, Nintendo also said that they're going to have production problems sourcing production materials for the console. So they might not be able to, fulfill that promise. Just, some food for thought if you guys are going to pick up the console or not. And that just about wraps up the video. If you guys liked what I had to say, leave a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the notification button. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace, guys.